So because there's no games this weekend, the meltdown from the weekend just keeps on continuing. It's about time that we spoke about a penalty incident at the game at the weekend that should have went for Celtic. We've all seen it with our own two eyes. Butland pushes Kyogo with two hands in the 6-yard box, but nobody's talking about it. That's okay, because it's the Scottish media and they have their agenda to make sure that it's everything has to be about Rangers and the fact that they have to be seen by being aggrieved and hard done by. You've got to say that when a player gets pushed in the box, there's a good argument that the referee would have seen that. But he turned a blind eye, and there wasn't even VAR. If you get pushed like that anywhere else on the pitch, it's generally a foul. But the fact that the Rangers goalkeeper done it, and then a Rangers player did it also, and just to make sure that Kyogo tumbled to the ground. If that ball had rebounded back on someone and he'd been pushed to the ground, it's a guaranteed penalty. But never mind. People have been sharing clips of it on social media, and everybody has their say on it. But when he's bundled to the ground whilst the ball's in play, it should have been a penalty. But we're not going to worry about it because we won. VAR didn't spot it, referees didn't spot it, but Celtic went on to win, and that's all that matters. Also, that's all that matters. The psychological boost that's given Celtic and the fans this week, and let's face it, they've been a little bit quiet. There's one weird thing that's happened as well. Over the last week, Joe Hart has been playing, well, Joe Hart probably had the game of his life at the weekend. He's changed the way that he's playing. He's went back to playing like an old school keeper, but Celtic have made moves to sign an absolute, well, we spoke about this just at the weekend, the fact that Celtic have looked into the availability of the Liverpool backup keeper. Now, the fact that Joe Hart will be retiring from Celtic after his 3-year stint comes to an end this summer. Celtic were in the market for a goalkeeper, it seems, but Keeler isn't at the right price range just yet. When you look at Joe Hart's at one edge of the spectrum when it comes to experience and his age, obviously. And when you look at Keeler, he's a younger keeper that's still trying to make his name. But I mean, he's got a really good reputation at Liverpool. He's one of the best backup keepers in the Premier League, a lot of people are saying. And he's just waiting to get his opportunity. The fact that he would jump hand over feet to get up to Celtic, I think it's something that could be done next summer. But can we wait till next summer? Can we wait till next summer to get the keeper in? Or should we make a move for him in the winter transfer window? It has been suggested that Benji Siegrist wanted to leave Celtic in the summer. It is believed that he wanted to go and get first team football, but he was told he had to remain at Celtic as backup. And let's face it, Scott Bain's only been given the 3-year contract due to the fact that we need to have a certain amount of Scottish players for the European competition. And Scott is obviously, I mean, he's a good backup keeper, but he's obviously happy with just playing second fiddle at Celtic. I thought personally that he would have moved on in the summer before he was offered the new contract. Bain isn't the answer for Celtic, we all know that, but Keeler, he looks an ideal solution. So tell me your thoughts in the comments. Okay, let's get back to the fallout for the game on Sunday. On Go Radio, Steve McGinn voiced his disbelief, and so did John Hartson, to be fair. People have been displeased with the atmosphere when Celtic scored. The fact that there was no away fans. Let's face it, the only two Celtic fans that were in the stadium was John Hartson and Big Chris Sutton. And that's probably the funniest two Celtic fans that you could get at the game. McGinn went on to say, I think something has to change. Whether it's the league or Sky get involved, the atmosphere was poor for the Celtic Rangers game. I hope they do the right thing. I hope Celtic do the right thing and give Rangers tickets for the next one. No, that's not happening. Right? It is not happening. They can ram it. They're the one that caused this incident. We all remember back to 2018 when Celtic were all conquering and winning trebles. Rangers decided that they could not handle 7,000 Celtic fans. Let's not paper over this and try and make it something it's not. Let's try and make it it's not Celtic refusing them tickets. Let's get back to the basics here. And I'm going to have no apologies about this because it's factual. The fact that Rangers actually cut the allocation because Celtic were always winning. They got fed up and they would leave 20 minutes before a game because Celtic would have been 2 or 3-0 up. They caused this situation, and then people are now saying that Celtic should take the upper hand and give them the allocation back. No, Not a chance. Not a chance. And I'm sure we did a poll on this channel before, and a lot of people were saying, no, they can ram it. They can absolutely ram it. He goes on to say, I think that if Celtic are winning, their fans are goading Rangers fans. It's a better game. When it's just 50,000 Rangers fans, they're watching their team losing. There is so much negativity. Well, there was so much negativity, and there was also so much fighting in the stands. So that tells you all about that fan base that you need to know. We're not going to talk about them, and we're going to go on. Celtic need to do the right thing. Rangers have made their bed for this season. They've sold off tickets, McGinn said, but Celtic can do the right thing and give Rangers an allocation. No, they don't. No, they don't. And we all know that Rangers are going to complain to the SFA and the SPFL if Celtic do not hand over the 700 briefs in December. So this is going to go on and on and on. Obviously, Celtic did ask for the full Broomloan stand back. Rangers denied it and they said no, they can't do it. They've already sold the season tickets. Look, season tickets can be changed at a minute's notice. We all know this. We're just customers of the game. You're not fans, you're only customers. And the terms and conditions within any contract with the customer can be changed at a moment's notice. Let's move on. Because football fans going to games, and I've got many, many years experience travelling, watching to Celtic and running a Celtic supporters bus. Yesterday, a document was released on a government website to include a series of controversial proposals which only cover football and basically trying to stop fans getting within 10 miles within the stadium, near the stadium, without prior commission. It's also said that bus companies have to take the stand here, and as do football clubs. Under the plans, the UK government want to stop buses going to pubs unless alcohol was sold as part of a meal. So you can go in and you can buy a plate of chips, or you can buy a roll, and you can get a couple of pints. How many pints? Who knows? Maybe 5 or 6, maybe even 10 pints with the one plate of chips. Anyway, those that run in the buses for the bus company need to have a dedicated football officer 48 hours to detail the number of vehicles. This is all things that are all done already by the bus companies. But the government now wants the number of vehicles, the number of travellers, the contact details of everyone on the bus, the contact details of every single person on the bus, and a lot more information. It's all about control, and it's the UK government just being an absolute. Unsurprisingly, the SFA, the SPFL and the SWPL released a joint statement on Tuesday morning expressing concerns over the new rules. It is absolutely ridiculous in this day and age that a Tory government is going to try and bring this move. The Scottish government should step in. But then again, we all know what Scottish government, they brought in the bill a few years ago, and it was an absolutely terrible time at Scottish football. The fact even to this day that football fans can get filmed just standing at a match by Police Scotland. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous and disgusting that it still goes on in this day and age. We thought that it was maybe being put to bed when the bill was finally crushed. And let's face it, Celtic fans, remember, were taken to court. And one of the funniest occasions at Celtic Park is a time that everyone that was coming in the turnstiles at the section of where the Green Brigade stand, everyone that had ginger hair was getting pulled by the police because they were looking for a ginger-haired guy in the Green Brigade. So they ended up arresting about 7 people. Well, not arresting them, but pulling them aside to question them because they had ginger hair. This is how good Police Scotland are. So anyway, on that note, let's move on from this. We'll be back this evening with an update, probably do a live around about 5:15 Celtic Park time. Again, on that note, try and have an exciting day, Celtic fans. You know, it is an international week. They're usually quite boring. Jurgen Klinsmann says that he's been speaking to Brendan Rodgers. He said that he's quite happy. Brendan's happy with O, etc. But other than that, there is one bit of news that you have to have a laugh at. And we always keep the good news. It's like when Trevor McDonald used to do. And finally, the exciting stuff, the happy news. Rangers have made contact with Kevin Muscat. And they look to replace Beale after they lost to Celtic. So on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up.